Welcome. In front of me I have the HOTWAV. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And in any case, today I'll go over unboxing of this tablet and a quick look at it. Now to be more specific, this is the Tab 8, as you can see right here. So anyway, let's just get straight into it. Rip that off, and there we go. So it looks like it comes with a tempered glass, which is pretty nice. We have wet and dry wipes so we can clean off the display. Then we get the massive slab of tempered glass. Now this is actual glass, so that's pretty nice. I'm gonna put that somewhere safe so I don't break it. Then we get the tablet itself. Come on. There we go. Now it does have a little bit of a weight. It's 680 grams, I think it is, or something, a little bit over 600. Then here we get a Type-C to Type-A charging port, or charging cable, and then a charging brick. And this is a 10 watt. A little bit of a slow charger, considering this device has a 7,500 milliampere hour battery, I think. Under here we have a SIM eject tool and nothing else. So just squeeze that back in here. Okay. So let's begin by actually peeling off this annoying thing, assuming there is actually a screen protector, and there is. So this isn't the only one. Like, you peel that off and you don't actually need to apply the tempered glass. There we go. Unfortunately, by lifting it up, I did manage to get some crap under here. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now let's boot it up. We have basically every port and button on just one side. And I guess it is on the top side of the device, considering this is the way the logo is showing when you're booting it up. So we have our charging port Type-C, speaker, and we also have a speaker at the bottom. Then we have our power button, volume rockers, and a headphone jack. Okay. Now in a second we should, there we go, see our display. So the size of the display right here is a 10.4 inches. It is a full HD plus, and now it is a little bit of a misleading info on the box saying the 2K resolution. That's not 2K, and that's not even nowhere near 2K. That is a 1080p resolution with a wonky aspect ratio. So it is running a 1920 by 1200 resolution. It is a 1080p. It is a, I believe, 16 by 10 aspect ratio. I think that's what it is. Now they also have this weird pixel density metrics, where they are saying that it has 1200 by 2000 pixel density. Now it doesn't really say on what kind of scale this is, so it's basically saying that it would have this if the display was like, what, 11 inches, I think. So yeah, this is a little bit misleading. This resolution puts it somewhere around like 200 and I think 40 pixels per inch, something along those lines. So this weird like statement right there on their own website is just absolutely misleading. It also states that it has an 82% screen to body ratio, and yep, like I was saying, a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, so that's correct. Brightness of 420 candles per square meter. Nice. I think that's square meter. CD/M2. I think that's basically how it is. And yeah, that's basically all the info for the display. Now it didn't specify what kind of display type this is, and by the looks of it, this looks like an LCD IPS display. It also didn't mention any kind of high refresh rate, so let's see how it looks like. And this looks like a 60 Hz refresh rate, so again, no higher refresh rate here. Now moving on into the internals, where it actually gets interesting. We are looking at a, let me just quickly scroll down. I will be honest, the specification for this tablet on their own website is not very clear. Just to kind of showcase this to everyone so you can see what I'm dealing with. So this is the Tab 8, right? So there we go. This is their own website. I'm gonna make it a little bit brighter. And no. So right off the bat we have the very limited info actually right here. So we have just a display which is very misleading, 10.4 inches full HD 2K full view display, which is, like I said, just BS. It's not 2K. Then we have Android 13 operating system, the 8 gigabytes plus 256 gigs of storage, and up to 1 terabyte, and the battery size. And to actually find the rest of the info, you have it in images like this. This is very AliExpressy. So yeah. So I'm going to be looking at it in this kind of perspective. It might be a little bit all over the place because the images are all over the place. So next, internals. A 16 gigabyte of RAM, though this is misleading again. It's actually 8 gigabytes of RAM with which can borrow another 8 gigs from your internal storage of the device to basically give you a cumulative amount of 16 gigs of RAM. Though, again, misleading because RAM is a specific type of storage. You can't just take, for instance, SSD and convert it into RAM. Otherwise, we could all have 1 terabyte of RAM in our computers by just buying like NVMe and just making it into RAM. It's not how it works. It's a completely different type of storage, and it's a gimmick that companies started to do to basically make their devices seem better than they actually are. But once your device starts to use the actual storage as RAM, that's when you will start to feel the slowness of this. Which basically it will make it so every application that you open will be most likely opening up and loading things longer than it would if it would have to reload itself in actual like RAM storage. So just wanted to point that out to people that might not exactly know that and want to utilize this option or think that it's some kind of like, you know, godsend. Now, moving on, we have a octa-core Unisec T606 processor, and this is capped at 1.6 gigahertz speed. With, like I said, 8 cores. Now, there is 2 cores that would appear to be A75 called, and also 1.6 gigahertz, and 6 at A55, 1.6 gigahertz as well. So yeah. Now, continuing on, the battery size in here is a 7,500 mAh battery. Now, that being said, it is actually on the lower side. Now, it's still a stupidly big battery size, even for a tablet. But I want to point that out that I literally unboxed a phone from them, previous video, which came with a also 7,500 mAh battery, and that was the what was it? Let me quickly check. I do have a note of it. So that was a Note 12, and also same kind of battery size, which was apparently 7,500, and that was a phone. This is a tablet, so considering they do have pretty beefy battery sizes in their devices, specifically phones, I would have expected to have a significantly bigger cell in here. But anyway, 7.5, it's still a pretty decent battery size. Now, that being said, this device is running Android 13, which at the moment I believe it's the newest Android you can get, maybe minus like the Pixel devices, but let's not count those in. So again, newest software, pretty good. Then in terms of cameras at the back, we have a dual camera setup, and how is that a dual camera? That's actually not a dual camera. It's again a little bit misleading. So the main sensor right here, which I believe will be this one at the back, is going to be a 13 megapixel sensor. Now it doesn't specify if it's a wide, ultra wide, or anything like that, so I can just assume it's just a wide sensor. And then at the front we have another camera, and that appears to be a 5 megapixel. Again, doesn't specify, so I can only assume it's again a wide sensor. Now, moving on, we do have a expandable storage right here along with a SIM tray, so we can put in two different SIM cards, which is surprising for a tablet, or SIM card and SD card. And in terms of SD card, you can expand the storage up to 1 terabyte, which is pretty insane. And that's basically all the info for this device. And one thing that I didn't mention was the price. And this device comes at about 800, what am I saying? It's 850 PLN. In terms of dollars, it's about $200. So more commonly, I guess, used currency. So for 200 bucks, you actually get a pretty decent device. Now it is from, at least to me, almost, well, that's the first time I'm hearing of this company, at least today. So I don't know how good their devices is, how long they last, and how prone they are to breaking. But in general, for 200 bucks, this is a pretty decent device. It should be pretty fast, smooth. It comes with a sufficient enough battery size, I would say, actually pretty good battery size, a sufficient enough RAM, because even at 8 gigabytes, which I would recommend only utilizing, it's already pretty decent. Like 8 gigabytes is a good size for RAM. And also the 256 gigabytes of storage is also pretty good for a device at this price range. So again, I can't complain here. And additionally, the display right here might not necessarily blow anyone away, but it's still a 1080p resolution, so that's good. And yeah, so in general, this is a pretty decent device that comes, well, with everything that it would need. It comes with a charger, obviously, even a case, which I didn't actually talk about at all. So we do have a pre-applied case on here. There we go. Which will obviously add some durability to your device. So if you drop it, it looks like it's going to protect it pretty well. It has reinforced like edges right here where there is a little bit more silicone. It seems like a pretty decent case in general. And the device design, for instance, let's talk about the design right here, is also a pretty decent looking device. Now I will say it has some rough edges. So as an example, right here where you have the plastic part, which I assume that's where the antennas might be, could kind of see some kind of like manufacturing defects. It's kind of hard to show it on the camera. Trying to capture it somehow. You can kind of see it right here where the plastic is just kind of like weirdly scuffed up. So just a manufacturing defect, but it's there. Just wanted to show this. Other than that, everything looks just fine. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about, actually, no, I did talk about the UI, so never mind. So there we go. Pretty decent device if you don't mind buying from AliExpress, because that's basically where this device kind of originates from. Then obviously looks like a pretty solid device. Now, like I said, AliExpress, but they do have their own website which you can buy from, so you could get it from there. They are advertising that you can get it from the AliExpress straight away with up to 62% off. So that's pretty interesting. Now let's see if that is actually accurate. For people that might be interested, let's see. Why did it just close my site? Come on. Okay, that is a weird currency, which I have no idea what that translates to, so let me quickly check it just so I can be very... Okay, so it is cheaper on AliExpress. Not by much, not by 62% like it's advertised, but it is about 150 bucks. Yeah, about 150 bucks, something along those lines. So again, for 150 bucks, a tablet like this, that's actually just really nice. Anyway, so with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, informative, which I tried to make this informative. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.